10-minute bedtime yoga. Go ahead and come to a comfortable seated position, rolling those shoulders up, down in the back pockets. Taking a few breaths here to settle in, releasing any of your thoughts and tensions from your day. And noticing any body parts that need your attention, taking a nice deep inhale and exhale, bringing your awareness to those body parts to release any of the tightness. Taking another deep inhale and exhale, we're going to go ahead and bend our knees, bringing them into our chest, bowing our head down towards our knees. And today we're going to do a lot of yin poses, which mean we're going to hold things a little bit longer than in our flowing practices. This helps open and release any of the tension that we have going on in our body. So as we hold these poses, you can work on counting your breath. So I like to count inhale for 5, hold for a count of 5, and exhale for a count of 5. Next, I want you to transition now to all fours. We're going to take a few moving poses. We're going to do a bird dogs, opposite arm and hand reach, thumb up to the sky, toes curled under. We're going to alternate sides, holding it a second as you reach, and then you're going to be switching sides, trying to have as minimal movement as possible in that low back and really working this move from your core. Go ahead and now take that right arm forwards and bending in that left knee, reaching back towards that left foot, opening up that chest. So we are really feeling a nice chest opening stretch with this pose. So breathing into that and exhale, releasing. And then go ahead and take that right foot, bend it at the knee, reaching back with that left arm, opening this chest. And breathing in here. If you can't quite reach your toe, you can always grab a strap or just go ahead and not quite touch your toe, but reach back towards it. Go ahead and release that side now. And we're going to take it into puppy pose. Take your knees a little bit wide, not quite as wide as the mat, and bring that forehead down to the earth. Palms are down, reaching towards the sky. It's not quite a child's pose. So you should feel a stretch in the mid-back. So your hips are actually going to be lifted off your feet for the puppy pose. Taking a nice deep breath here. And releasing that tension in the back. And then exhale, coming back to all fours, and then lowering all the way down onto our belly. We're going to put a bend into our left knee, reach back towards it with our left arm, and we're going to do a half bow here. So this is the first stop. So you can stay here and hold the half bow. If you know full bow, go ahead and bring both knees up and opening that chest. Try to keep your knees together so they're not splayed out wide outside of the mat. So you're opening that chest and we're working on our digestion. And then exhale your right ear down to the mat. And again, you can do a half bow or go into full bow. It depends on your flexibility levels. So if you did half bow, we are going to switch and we're going to do it one more time. And we're going to do it on the other side. So you can do it on the right side now if you did half bow, or if you did faux bow, you can go back into the full bow expression. Again, we're balancing on our hips and balancing on our low belly as we're doing this pose and remembering to breathe. And then exhale that left ear down to the mat this time. Taking a nice deep breath here. And then go ahead and bring your hands down to your palms, and then you're going to alternate lifting one leg up to the sky and then the other. This movement is coming from our glutes. We call these swimmer poses. So you're going to alternate bringing your right leg up and then left, and then now we're taking it into swimming, and we're not going to let those feet touch the ground, pulsing, Keep going, and then go ahead and release it, curling those toes under and pushing it back to a traditional child's pose. Arms are going to be wrapped around the lower legs, head down to the mat. If your head cannot touch the mat, you can bring a pillow in and place your head on a pillow, or you can hover above the mat, whatever feels good in your body. So taking a few breaths here to settle in, connect with what's going on in the body, and then exhaling it back to all fours, and then go ahead and take a seat. We're going to do a couple hip opener poses next. So this one is cow face pose. So for this one, I want you to go ahead and take that right knee underneath. Left leg is going to be up and over. You're trying, if you can, to get your knees to stay even with each other. If your knees are saying there's no way that's happening, you can widen your stance and bring your legs a little bit farther apart. Your goal is to have your both hips sitting on the earth. So trying to get both of those sits bones touching down. And we're just going to breathe here and breathing into that pose. Sitting up nice and tall with our spine. And releasing any of that tension. And then as you hold these poses, the more intense they become. So that's where you're working through some of that stiffness. And then go ahead and exhale, releasing that. Taking that left leg on the bottom, taking that right leg up and over. And doing the same thing the other side. And you might find that one side is a little bit easier than the other. And this is where you find the sweetness. And you find that sweet spot. And you might be able to see one side, even on myself, the side's a little bit higher than the other side. And you're trying to, if you can, bring both sits bones down to the earth. And you can put a blanket underneath if it's a little high and a little uncomfortable. This should be challenging but doable, is what we like to say with yin poses. Taking another breath here, and then exhale, releasing that. Then we're going to go ahead and taking our hands behind our thighs, slowly rolling it down to our backs. Take your feet the hip width of your mat, and then arms out to a T. Lift those hips up and bring them over to the right side of your mat and let your knees fall open to the left. So this should feel a little quad stretch. The goal is not necessarily to have your legs touch the ground. You should just feel a nice stretch in the quads or the front part of the leg. So breathing here, and you're trying to keep that opposite shoulder down on the mat. So trying to keep that right shoulder down. And twist are detoxifying. And it helps you kind of just wring out any of the stuff from your day. Go ahead and exhale back to center, and then lifting your hips up and over towards the left side of your mat, letting your knees fall open to the right. Your gaze will be whatever side your knees are not facing. So if your knees are on the right, your gaze will be to the left. Eyes can be open or shut. Taking a few breaths here. And then come back into center. Hug that right knee into the chest, pulling it up and over towards the right armpit to stretch a little bit more of the buttocks. Breathing into that and the hamstrings. And then exhale, releasing, bringing that left knee in, bringing it up and over towards the armpit, keeping that foot engaged. So keeping it bent, like you're pushing open a door. And then hugging the right knee into the chest, giving them both a hug. Rocking slowly side to side, little circles. And then we're going to come into happy baby, grabbing the inside arches of those feet. If that is too difficult, you can always come to the outside. And if there's any other poses that you guys want to do, now is the time to do them. Otherwise, you guys can finish up by releasing those legs and coming down into Shavasana. Palms facing up again towards the sky. And we're going to go ahead and do a quick little releasing. I want you to go ahead and squeeze your calf muscles and release. Squeeze your toes and release them. Squeezing your glutes and your hamstrings and releasing. Squeezing your hand and making a big fist and releasing that to the earth. Squeezing those biceps and releasing that. Squeezing the stomach and releasing. Clenching the jaw, releasing. And then your third eye, scrunching those eyebrows together and release. And then go ahead and roll over onto that left side, straightening that left arm up, bringing those knees in, taking a few breaths here, settling in and pushing up to a comfortable seated position. Palms lifting up overhead, coming down to that third eye, positive thoughts, stopping at your lips, positive speech, coming to heart center, radiate love, and namaste. The light in me honors the light in you.